Welcome back to another great episode of Better Life, Better Business. I am Christoph Nauer, business coach specializing in time management and the author of the Amazon bestseller From No Time to Free Time, 6 Steps to Work-Life Balance for Business Owners. Today, we're going to talk about marketing and sales with Sharyn and Hank Yuloff. Welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you.
So marketing and sales, something that pretty much any business needs. So tell us a little bit about how you do this and what's so unique about your approach versus all the others out there.
I don't know that it's unique. It's just honest and straightforward. Over the course of time, we have met an awful lot of small business owners. We've worked with a whole bunch of them, and usually your first introduction to somebody is that elevator speech or elevator story. And what we notice is that so many people go right into the sales process. And as a small business owner, we all need to remember marketing is getting your prospects to raise their hand and saying, well, yeah, I would like more information. If they don't raise their hand and want more information, we haven't done a great enough job in telling our story, or they really aren't our prospect. 99.999% of the people in this world do not want to write you a check, and that's so okay, because 0.001%, that's a really nice living. So don't jump right down into the sales right away. Kind of like dating, we want to make it a courtship and make sure that it's a great match for each other.
I love what you just said. It's just like dating. Yeah. It's so funny. People think, who asks for does a wedding proposal on a first date? I mean,
well, oddly interesting you should say that, Sharyn.
Well, we did not go straight to the wedding.
Yeah,
I just broke up with the guy that I was dating when I met you. So
the same night we met, Sharyn called the guy she was dating, and
I have never seen him again.
So there you go. That's how good a salesperson I was.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying is so true. People, they meet somebody and then they think, oh, now just because you met me, you want to be my customer. I got the best things in sliced bread. And so you're going to rip out your wallet and give me your credit card. And I'm with you. That hasn't happened to me yet. And because I haven't proven to that person that I have something of value, that, the whole idea of building a relationship, the first date, so to speak, is usually about, hey, do you want to go on a second date, right?
That's right.
We did a webinar yesterday for a group on Alignable, and it was all about putting your elevator speech and improving it. And so we have an entire screen of small business owners, and our comment at the beginning was, okay, when you're not giving your speech, make sure you're listening and watch the screen of all of the people, because after we gave them a few tips, it was really obvious every time somebody made an error. For example, we figure we have one shot at it, so we just list the 12 different reasons that someone might want to buy your product,
or the 12 different products that you sell.
Yeah. And when someone did that, it happened several times. And by the time the last person did it, everybody was just laughing, because we all realized, oh my gosh, so many of us do that exact same thing. And by the time we were done, everyone had stopped doing it. So it was a win yesterday. It was a lot of fun.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's so interesting. One of the things, obviously you're the marketing experts, not me, but one of the things I've learned is that 95% of folks are future buyers. And most of the marketing we do is to the now buyers. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of strange, isn't it? What recommendation do you have for in that regard? Or am I off with the numbers in it?
Well, I don't think you're off.
Yeah, I it's probably, we're all going to buy something at some time. The marketing is a science of choice. And our goal as marketers or, entrepreneurs is to know who our audience really is, and B, where are their eyeballs searching? And that way you can use marketing as a science of choice, putting your message where they're more likely to be found. Let's use a couple of examples. If your audience is younger, then hanging out, putting your marketing messages on LinkedIn is probably not the right place compared to TikTok and Snapchat. If your audience is older, probably better, and more professional, than LinkedIn is an exact perfect place to be. One of our clients, he sells only Medicare insurance, and his focus is on human resource professionals. So he has started building up his presence on LinkedIn
with that specific audience.
Yeah, and all of his messages are designed to attract those folks, and that's working. So we look at each of our clients very differently because they're from a lot of different industries, and there is no one marketing tactic that's always going to work. Even heck, if you have been getting all of your sales from Facebook ads, well, a couple of days ago, Facebook went out for the day, and it could have been longer. Twitter has gone down. Every social media platform has gone down at one time or other.
And probably will again.
Yeah. So you can't rely on that one tactic. And even though social media is great, we don't own our profiles compared to we own our website. So how you market your business is going to depend on who your audience is. And in all of the different places, not necessarily all online, that's where you want to put your marketing messages. So those folks that are more apt to be your prospect will find it.
So then, if I hear you correctly, you're going to have a conversation with the business owner first to find out who and what they are, and then you design a marketing strategy. What would be best for this particular company to get their message out and be found and attract new customers.
Well, yeah, Sharyn, what's the first question we ask in our sessions?
So whether you're a group coaching client or a private coaching client, the first question is always, what do you want your life to look like? Because we want to know what the goal is. What's the end in mind? We want to help you craft the perfect business, the business that will give you the life you want, not craft the perfect business that you think you have. And then you get to the end and you're like, but now my life sucks. And that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, because
we've seen that happen before too.
We all started our business for freedom from a boss, or something, some form of way of phrasing that. And we find so many of our clients come to us, it's like, my business has taken over my life, and not necessarily in a good way. All right, tell us, what do you want your life to look like? And then we start crafting that so that their business serves their life instead of the other way around. Because that's the joy of having a business to begin with. Well,
you're speaking my language here. I mean, that's exactly what I'm all about, is, the business should not take over your life.
Yeah.
The myth that a successful business owner has to work 80 hours a week or more, that is not true. You can have a successful business and a happy home life. Both are possible. It's just a matter of how you allocate your time, because we all have the same amount of time. It's a matter of how we use it and how best utilize it,
And that's why somebody should be listening to a whole lot more of your podcasts. Because you have, when it comes to time management, you're the guy. So, listen to more of his podcasts.
Thank you. Now, folks, I didn't ask for them to promote me, okay? That was not staged, all right? So let me ask you one thing. I think, first of all, you are in business together as a couple. Now,
yes.
That I have not seen very often. And it's not only that, it's working, and you're killing it. I mean, you having a grand old time, and you married and working together. How do you do that?
Very well, thank you.
Step one, I married way up. Appreciate who you are married to, who you're partnered with. We've been doing this for what, 12 years now?
Yeah.
And we went into it with a very definite rule.
Our first rule has always been from the very beginning, the relationship comes first. If there were to be, I mean, obviously now it's been a dozen years, so it's no longer an issue, but if there were to be so much discord in the business that it's spilled over into personal, then I'll tap out and I'll go find a job someplace else, because the relationship has to come first. The business is secondary. Yeah.
It's why you can't find us on our anniversary, because everything gets shut down that day. There are a few days a year where we are absolutely unreachable, because it's relationship day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now the bizarre thing is that on two of our anniversaries, one our 25th and this last July our 30th, we launched a book on both days. So we were kind of keeping track of what was happening on Amazon. And for our 30th wedding anniversary this past July, our book called Partners in Everything came out. And the subtitle is Your Couple's Guide to Running a Successful Business Without Ruining Your Life. And we interviewed a bunch of different couples that are similar, but different industries, but similar in what they do. And we all asked them all the same questions that were just like yours. How do you do it? And what rules do you have? And there's a really wide variety of responses we got in that book. But it was a definite eye opener for us too, because we haven't cornered the market on working together.
We know what works for us.
Yeah.
We figure the reader probably wants more than, okay, that's great that you guys do it that way, but I wonder how Star and Mark do it, or right. So let's get some other voices in that book besides just ours.
Yeah. I mean, one of our rule, we don't have a threshold rule. For example, a lot of couples, once you step over the threshold into the house or into the bedroom or somewhere,
whatever,
there's no business talk. That doesn't work for us. I can be brushing my teeth and Sharyn will ask me if I sent an email, yeah, babe. So,
you only need a rule if one of you disagrees. So if, for example, if he was all about business and I needed the threshold, then we need a rule so that he remembers that. But since we agree on it, we don't really need a rule.
No, I think that's absolutely fantastic. Now, before we wrap things up, I wanted to ask you a few tips or tricks that you want to share with our listeners when it comes to marketing and sales, because obviously that's your expertise. And we want the folks to leave with something that they can do, improve on, but also hopefully they will be in touch with you and say, hey, tell me more. So I'll start with a few tips or tricks that you share with, that you want to share with everybody out there that you feel are making a huge difference in a business owner's life.
The first thing that comes to my mind is that we teach that you need to know who your ideal client is. Who's your favorite client? Who's your most profitable client? Those may be three different answers.
Yeah.
But whatever marketing message you're putting out, whether that's a blog post or a social media post or your elevator story, know which one you're talking to and talk directly to that person. We actually have pictures of our different avatars. We don't call it that, but anyway, so that we know, this particular post or this particular elevator story, we're talking to Angie. And we talk to Angie, not to the 150,000 Angies we hope are actually going to read it, but the one Angie that's actually reading it right this minute. And so that's our big thing. Know who your ideal client is. Let's help you craft that message to attract that ideal client. And then we worry about the tactic. Where do we put that message?
And once you're doing that, you've got to be consistent in your marketing. I'm sure some people have been on your podcast. Well, check that box. I've been on a podcast.
Can I share it?
Yeah, and share it over and over and over again. In fact, you should go and share all of Christoph's podcast because it's important. We will share this. We'll share this on our social media over and over and over, along with other podcasts we'd be on. If you wrote a blog, great. In fact, this is the one that comes up the most. I've written 3 blogs.
Over the course of 3 years.
Yeah. How about once a week would be just ideal. Once a month, better is okay. But you've got to be consistent. Your clients are going to your website, and they will go to your website to check you out. And your blog is the best way you can share what makes you different, what makes you special, and what makes you stand apart. So find your audience. Write, create that content and be consistent with it. And honestly, those are 3 of the hardest things. And if you can nail those down, it's going to be awesome for you. And if you need help, then we have you can come chat with us for a half hour and we'll help you, handhold you through that, because we're the easy button.
Well, thank you. I was just going to ask what special offer you have, but you beat me to it. You said you have a 30-minute consultation where people can pick your brains and learn more about what it is you do. And I love what you said about consistency. It's like, do you take a shower once?
That's right.
No, I mean,
once a day, maybe. Yeah. But you're right. It's and it's a matter. I bet your book would help. You've got to be consistent. You've got to schedule it out. You have to know how to plan your time so that it does happen.
Yes. Well, exactly right. So what you were saying, decide, every Monday I post a blog post, or Tuesday, whatever it is,
right.
Those kinds of things. And then talk to you about, is the blog post really, saying the right things so that I'm attracting the right clients, because that's the language that you speak, and that's where they need to connect with you and make sure that what they're saying is on target.
Yeah,
so,
and on your blog, we're not looking for war and peace. We don't. We're looking for 500, 600 words at one end, and if you can get it up to 1,000 words or more, that's awesome. But just make sure it's a few hundred words so that Google recognizes your expertise.
Oh, well, thank you. Okay, so 500 to 1,000 words. See, now you're getting specific. So you guys, thank you so much for being here, folks, listeners. You know that you got to talk to these experts, Sharyn and Hank. They know what they're talking about. Take advantage of the offer. They give you 30 minutes of their time, which is the most valuable resource that everybody has. They give you that. And so, Hank, Sharyn, how can folks best find you?
Well, the 2 questions people always ask us is, what do I do first, and how do I get there faster? So if you go to howtogettherefaster.com, that's howtogettherefaster.com, that's our scheduling link. It'll ask you a couple of questions so that we will know you better when we get on the phone. We'll be able, for example, look at your website and get an idea of who you are. So our time will be more valuably spent together. So howtogettherefaster.com. And if you want one of our books when we're there, just let us know and we'll send you one of our books.
Well, thank you so much. Now, folks, did you notice that they actually used the URL to tell what they're doing? I mean, isn't that fantastic? So if you don't think you need to talk to them, now you do. So thank you both for being on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, my pleasure. And many thanks to all the listeners who are here again with us. If you'd like to learn more about my services, or you want to get my Amazon bestseller, just go to my website, balance6.biz, balance, the word, the number 6.biz. Until next time, have a better life and a better business. This week's episode of Better Life, Better Business is brought to you by CA&C Video Productions. Since 1985, CA&C Video has been providing live streaming, event production, and analog to digital transfer services. They capture those life-changing moments, preserving your history for current and future generations. Because your history matters. Visit their website at cacvideo.com. Thank you so much for your sponsorship.
That's all for now. Thanks for listening to another episode of Better Life, Better Business with business and time management coach Christoph Nauer with Balance 6, the leading business and time management company in Northern California. Visit them at balance6.biz.